Let's talk about AI. It's this incredible, exploding field of possibilities. But for a lot of us, trying to actually learn it feels like trying to drink from a fire hose, right? It's just this chaotic flood of information. So what if there's a better way? A way to turn all that noise into real, tangible impact? Well, that's exactly what we're going to dig into today. A whole new path forward.
Does this feel a little too familiar? I mean, you're curious, you're totally motivated, but you find yourself just drowning in this sea of tutorials and articles and courses. You feel like you're just spinning your wheels. You're constantly taking in information, but you're never really making anything. It's a really common feeling, and you know what? It's just plain exhausting.
Okay, here's the most important thing I want you to hear. If you're feeling lost, it's not you. It's not your fault. The problem is the path itself. The old school learn everything first approach to AI is, well, it's basically broken for most people who actually want to build and apply what they know.
So let's just call it what it is. It's the AI learning maze. It's this idea that if you just consume enough random stuff, you'll, magically find your way out? The reality is, more often than not, it just leaves you feeling even more lost than when you started.
And this slide right here, this just captures that frustration perfectly. Look at the left side. It's that chaos, right? A total mess of disconnected books, videos, questions. That's the typical path. But over on the right, that's where we all want to be. We want to be following a clear, logical line from an idea all the way to a finished, valuable project. And that huge gap in the middle, that's the chasm where motivation goes to die.
So, okay, if the old way is a maze, then what we really need is a different kind of map. We need one that isn't about just hoarding information, but about building meaningful connections right from the very first step you take.
And this quote really gets to the heart of it. Just imagine a learning path where every single thing you learn has a clear and obvious purpose. You're not just memorizing some random function for no reason. You're learning a specific tool because you need it for the project you're building right now. All of a sudden, every single step feels like real, meaningful progress.
There's a name for this approach, and it's called a structured journey. It's a simple idea, but it's so powerful. It's a shift in mindset. You start with the end goal in mind. So, for instance, instead of vaguely learning about 10 different classification models, you start with a mission. I'm going to build a spam detector. See? Now, every concept you learn is a deliberate building block for that specific project. Nothing is learned in isolation. It all has a point.
So what does this structured journey actually look like in practice? How do we actually get you from that initial spark of, this AI stuff is cool, to making a real, tangible impact?
Well, it follows this really clear, logical flow. You start with your curiosity. That's your why, the thing that drives you. From there, you build a solid foundation of core concepts, but, and this part is absolutely key, you immediately learn how to connect those concepts to see the bigger picture. And then finally, all of that momentum gets channeled directly into creating real impact. You're actually building something tangible and valuable.
So who is this for exactly? Is it just for experts? Nope, it's for the beginner coming from a totally different industry. It's for the data analyst who feels kind of stuck. It's really for anyone who feels confused by the whole AI landscape. What connects all these people is the desire to build something, to create, not just to passively memorize a list of facts for a test.
And that brings us to the final part, and honestly, the most exciting one. This shift in perspective isn't just about learning more effectively. It's about fundamentally changing your trajectory from just learning to actually achieving. Because look, the real destination here isn't a certificate you can hang on the wall or a finished course. The true destination is your own growth. It's about having the ability to confidently achieve your goals and the skill to build something that adds real, tangible value to the world.
And that leads us to this invitation. This isn't some exclusive club. The journey to making an impact with AI isn't a race against everybody else. It's more like a collective launch. There's a seat on this rocket ship for anyone who's ready to rise to the challenge.
So we're going to end with a question aimed right at you. With a clear path and the right tools, the barriers to entry are lower than they've ever been. The only thing left to decide is, what are you going to build? What problem are you going to solve? What impact will you make?